Welcome back to Across the Board with Khalid Gray. Today we have some more hosts, some returners, and really everybody's a returner, but we haven't seen you really on Across the Board a lot. But you're back, and I'm just happy to have you back. But you guys introduce yourselves.
Kenneth Richardson, obviously you've seen me in Panther Sports Zone.
Joshua Fontenot, same.
Taneal Coleman.
And but today we're coming back off of an amazing win from our Panthers. The game just last Saturday against FAMU was really a sight to see. I'm gonna be completely honest, y'all. Like playing against one of our what used to be SWAC championship rivals. Yeah. When they came into the game, I mean, you just thought that FAMU was just gonna run over us. You know what I mean? And kind of breaking down what really happened in that beginning of the game. I mean, they were playing like, what was the song that you play? You said it on pizza. I forgot it.
It was Walking Your Track, Take Over Your Track by Bankroll First. If you know, you know. You know, that's just how it goes. If you know, you know.
And it basically made it seem like they were going to come in and just completely dominate this team. But that's not what happened. So kind of before we get into the play-by-play, what is your guys' feeling about the game in total before we break down what really happened?
I mean, personally, I feel as it was a good game overall. Defensive-wise, offensive-wise, I feel personally that they dominated. And I feel like that's what we all have to do every game we come out, especially now in this stretch of the season that we're going to. Now we're 5-5, if I'm correct. We're 5-5. We still have a possibility to make the SWAC championship if Southern does lose another game. And I feel like Southern is on the verge of actually losing, so I feel at the intensity that we have picked up, I mean, we went through 2 quarterbacks, we went through a couple of running backs, went through a lot of receivers, defensive players. It's just all has helped us to shape what the team has became today. And, like, that obviously proved it on Saturday. 31-12 in a blowout fashion, especially when we played them at their school, and they blew us out. They blew us out. So now it is like they just took it into play as we're going to walk in there, we're going to take over everything, we're just going to win, and that's not what happened. Yeah. I'm proud of them over that.
Yeah, bouncing back to domination, like it totally surprised me, like the passing game from the offense. Because usually when I go to a football game, it's always the running game, and it always been a disadvantage for Prairie View. But yeah, starting off first game, a 70-yard pass, touchdown. Like I was like, what? Like PB, y'all really is coming. So I'm surprised. I'm truly proud, and like hopefully like further on into the season, we keep up with that same momentum.
I feel like we came in with the mentality that we were going to win, and FAMU came in with the mentality that PV sucks.
We really already
and
won.
We dominated them in the beginning, and then we just took that momentum over throughout the game, and they couldn't fight back. So I feel like the next few games, we have the next few games because we can take this win, and we can take the last win, and we can take it through the rest of the season.
Yeah,
and then I feel like even with we can just go on and like start with the breakdown. I feel like in that first quarter, how Josh mentioned that 70-yard play just to get that going, for us to that be the first play that like where we scored on is just actually remarkable. It has been happening for the past couple of weeks actually with the same quarterback and the same receiver. I mean, honestly, that connection that they have, like I told you, we're on to our third quarterback now. And for us to just now find a good receiver-quarterback connection on that third quarterback, yes, it was very well, what is the word I'm looking for? Like, very delayed, but I'm glad we have it now.
Yeah.
And definitely with an athlete like James Burns, oh my God. Like, he was at Austin, when he was at Austin Peavy, a dog, scoring every way he could. And, like, I'm talking kick return, regular just wide receiver stuff. I mean, honestly, he's just a dog. And for him to bring that play over to Prairie View now, especially, I think this is his last season as a graduate transfer. For him to bring that into this last season, I feel his mindset and mentality is go all out. Yeah. And I feel like that's what he brings every single game is just he has to go out. And that's just amazing about him.
Yeah. And kind of piggybacking off of that quarterback receiver duo, not duo, but like the connection between, because Jaden Johnson is now the starting QB, and we've seen it for the last game, we've seen it for this game, and it's yielded great success. Yeah. I mean, we saw it during homecoming, amazing game, and then we saw recently, and James Burns being one of his receivers, he also have Shamar Savage during the homecoming game scored I think it was either first or the second touchdown, but a bomb. An absolute bomb from Jaden Johnson, and the reception. So seeing that receiver quarterback kind of connection is now really great, and I'm glad that you touched on the fact that now, yeah, we were waiting on it, but now it's here. Because at the beginning of the season, we had Cam Peters start a lot. He still goes out, he still suits up and all that. But Jaden Johnson has had no, I guess, he hasn't stuttered. He hasn't stuttered in his now new starting position. So when you think about this first quarter, though, the scoring came in bunches. I mean, we scored 10 in the first quarter. And the only thing that FAMU really had to kind of give back to us was a field goal attempt that was successful. And that was only because of our defense and being able to stop their drive after we gave them a chance to do it. So seeing how, what was the importance of the defensive intensity coming off and starting and setting the tone for this game?
Overall, cornerbacks, hey, man, did an amazing job. A whole lot of picks from the defense. A whole lot of sacks. I've seen a whole lot of sacks, and for them to like let FAMU get close to the end zone. PV, the D line, they pretty much did a good job trying to prevent them from scoring. So I think it's about that time where everybody understands like we're getting close to the end of the season and playoffs is coming up. So everybody's like locked in. Like I heard that FAMU was like beefing with Prairie View. And so when I looked, I was like, dang, like it's like PV, like is they really have that ego? But no, it was FAMU. And so I just like the maturity that they bring offensively and defensively, and throughout the game, they just been very dominant, very confident, and very humble. So I truly appreciate that.
And a question I have for you, Taneal, because we're both on the field, like taking photos and things of that nature. What are some of the things that you were like hearing, seeing, like up close that somebody from the stands or in the press box couldn't see? Like, what were you seeing?
Well, I saw how they were being aggressive towards each other and bringing up the energy. Walking through the sidelines, I could hear like the chemistry between for our team. They were really hyping each other up, and that's how our major success came.
And to speaking on like, because when we were, like I said, when we saw the beginning of the game, FAMU came out, played, run up in you feel me? And seeing how they were coming in with this mentality of like, we're better than you guys, it transferred even into the second quarter. Now, nobody scored in the second quarter. But when you saw, that's when the intensity started to rile up. There were plenty of players that were getting injured. That's a big emphasis that we'll cover in the next section after we're done, like breaking down the quarters. But nobody scored in the second quarter. But that's where the intensity built up. You saw a lot of pushes, you saw a lot of shoves, you saw a lot of refs kind of getting in between players. And I think when we break down the third and the fourth quarter, you're gonna kind of see the effects of that intensity. So kind of going into the third quarter, what were some things that, matter of fact, before we get into the third quarter, at halftime, what were some of the biggest key things that you guys saw starting to go into this second half that you saw Prairie View do phenomenal the first half?
I mean, what I did see them do phenomenal. I mean, they held FAMU only to 12 points, which is still very, very low for them and exactly how their team goes. Their team is a very air raid offense. It loves to throw the ball. They don't have rushers that are over big yardage yet. So they don't really try to run the ball anymore. They try to really get it through passing. And I feel what PV did, sending a lot of good defensive plays at them early in the game, just truly gave a momentum and I definitely would just say a momentum overall. Like, it really helped them. And then I would say coming into that third quarter, yes, FAMU scored 9 points on us. But that was what I felt like PV coming out of halftime, they usually always take a back seat. Little bit off the gas. But I felt when they realized, like, y'all, we playing at home, we not finna lose at home, especially to a team that thinks they're going to beat us at home, they really just, in my instance, they locked in. They locked in during the game, and especially through that whole second half. I mean, we outscored them still and still won the game, so that all just matters at the end. Like, they played very well, and they played very together.
Totally agree. Like, I agree with you, Kenny, all the way. Like I said, like, FAMU, what I saw was like a lot of intensity. You know how heads be, like, they get into their mind too much to the point where they mess up. But for PV to, like, like, they bringing that energy, they just kind of just step back and just be patient. Like, that's why I seen from the decent a whole lot of patience from the offense. I seen a whole lot of patience. And so that's what brought that energy and that and that's success for the Panthers. And so, yeah, so that's what you got it thing.
So for the first half, we came out right,
Yeah.
and we ended the half out right with a pick six. And so what made the second half so well was that they took the energy from the first half and they finished the game out with that same energy from the interception.
Yeah.
And that's something like we really talk about a lot, is just that energy that they have. I feel like any game that they get that energy not in them in that first half, they're not going to play very well in the second half. Yeah. Even then, it just really just depends overall. Like, I can't really give an explanation because that would be me having to talk to the football team. But what I can personally see it as is they have a mentality at one point. And at time, even when I looked at the Graham game, we were down 17-0 at one point. And I thought we was going to lose. I'm at home. I'm thinking we're going to lose. It's over. I lead a fair, come back. Somebody tell me we would have won the game. And it's just been a whole lot of stuff that I've seen with the team lately that where they have played one play together. That's what I'm very, very big on, because I feel chemistry is what makes a team, what makes a championship team overall. And even not for just the HBCU championship, even for just the SWAC championship to even get there. And I feel that plays a very big role. Like, we have substantial losses like Southern. We have that on there. We also have UAPB, and we almost lost to Mississippi Valley State. So there are key losses and key very wins on there that where we struggled in multiple games. But I feel as a game that we just pulled off, it low-key, it proves to people now that Prairie View is in the area to play. They can run the ball, they can pass the ball, they can play defense. It's just an overall game. And that what they prove that is their championship team.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you mentioned that now people are starting to understand just how poised this team can be. And correction on my behalf, there was a score by PV in the second half. But the point of bringing this up was the fact that we see a different intensity from this team in the second half. We saw it in Grambling. Specifically, I'm glad that you mentioned that we were down by, what was it? You said 17. And just the fact that when you put Jaden, like I keep mentioning Jaden Johnson because I understand Jaden Johnson is that key. He's that key to the offense that allows them to get a lot more fluid. And kind of going into this third and fourth quarter is where we saw just a domination from this offense, but also from this defense. FAMU did score 9 straight points, but let's talk about how they got those 9 straight points. It was not by a touchdown. It was not by an amazing drive put together. It was 3 field goal attempts that were successful. So I know we emphasize just how important the defense is, but let's talk about this offense real quick. McDowell, 2 back-to-back touchdowns. And when you think about just how insane it is to not only go through the line untouched, but to truck 2 people back-to-back, it's crazy to me. Have the photo. But it's insane to me just how crazy that intensity actually fueled them. Because after that exact same play, you saw FAMU players talking to McDowell as if he was a little boy. Proceeds to do the little boy emo. Crazy, right? So I guess, what do you guys think of this run game that was so poised going into this third and fourth quarter?
They had to push the run game. I mean, honestly, they had to. Like I mentioned before, FAMU's not a strong running team anymore as they once were last year. They had to push the running game. Honestly, what I knew from the beginning, I know we can pass. We have a good quarterback in place. We have good receivers. But we have to establish a running game. It don't have to be no Derrick Henry type of running game where we're feeding the running back 30 times a game. It has to be something so we can still get up off of our back.
And it has to be a happy medium. Like a nice mix between the run game and the pass game. Because once you establish that run game, I feel you. Like,
I personally believe 60-40.
60-40?
60-40, you got to have a little bit more pass than run. But I definitely believe, like, with the way, especially at the end of the game, knocking both of those touchdowns back-to-back just to really put the dagger and put the nail in the coffin for what he did. And McDowell is just a dog, honestly. Like, just a dog. Can't even get mad at it, honestly. Just got to look at it how it is.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, McDowell, man, boy, what a game.
What a game.
What a game. And plus 2 trucks. Back-to-back. Like, that's that intensity, like, we need, like, throughout the whole season. Like, we kind of fell off, beginning of the season. But just to see that and seeing somebody to step up, that shows, like, hey, this is what we capable of. And so with McDowell, you know what I'm saying, showing that, I think it shows the team like, hey, we're dogs, we can do this. Like, no matter the team we go up against, bro, like, bro, we can truck you, and you, come on.
Yeah.
Come on,
We
man.
coming.
So, kind of moving into the second part of this, because now we've covered pretty much the summary of the game.
Yeah.
It was a lot of dominance out of the second quarter, a lot of great defense played throughout the whole quarter, throughout the whole game.
Yeah.
But two main things I'm going to touch on really quick before we wrap up is the sheer amount of injuries that we saw from FAMU.
Yeah.
It was crazy because every single time somebody made contact, it would be somebody limping off the field. It would be a substitution on offense or defense because somebody got hit. And I think that statement saying that we're here to play tough was kind of the thing that changed. Like, do you feel like the injuries obviously would play? Like, do you guys think that the injuries will play a big part in how this game was played?
Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, their starting quarterback went out. Went out. That's one right there. So, like, that's big. They went through 3 quarterbacks. FAMU, the defending SWAC champions, went through 3 quarterbacks through 1 game against us. That just tells me a lot right there, because with the way of y'all saying walk in y'all trap, take over y'all trap, y'all getting off the bus, y'all getting off 290, thinking y'all finna come Prairie View and get straight to it. Y'all think y'all finna go disrespect Blackshire Field. No, y'all are not. That's just not how it's finna go. And what I feel is, if you saying walk in your trap, take over your trap, what I personally believe is that they weren't there all the way. Stretching wise, it starts from the beginning. It started really the night before when it comes to any sport that you play. It depends, what do you do in those 24 hours before your game? And I feel like their mindset they had, hate to say it, we stay right around Houston. Probably was in Houston all night, trying to have a little fun before the game, thinking it's gonna be all cool, we gonna win, we gonna come back. No,
You know
not
what's
how
so
it
crazy?
happened.
I don't mean to cut you off, but you know what's so crazy? They had a whole kind of like, they had a whole social media kind of pop out. We going to Texas with all this other, like with the cowboy hats and everything. I thought that was kind of crazy, but my bad. I just wanted to mention that. I thought that was kind of crazy to me that y'all really that they came in thinking that we gonna really take over Texas. Like, y'all gonna come down here and do that.
No.
And just to run through, you have to use all three you have to use your main quarterback and then your backups, and the backups didn't really do much either. And when you think about just how many people were getting injured in total, like just both for our team and for their team, it was an injury fest. And I was talking to Josh on the sideline. I was like, we need to make a story about this, But I feel like that's important to bring up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But something else that was really big was the fight at the end of the game. And here's the kicker. The fight at the end of the game was not with the PV football team. FAMU got fed up with the marching storm and started fighting the people in the marching storm.
Yeah.
That's what from what the video is.
Whoa! I swear to God, I saw some jerseys. Hold on.
No, they were no.
The alma mater was playing.
No, I know. Both. No, but I'm saying both. I'm saying football was. They got in. Yes, football team was in there as well, but they were robbed. But it was something with the marching storm that I was told, and I saw the video, and I saw a lot of stuff going on. Is what I'm saying. Well, this is a horrible look for FAMU.
Well, my personal opinion to that is, I mean, it's just how it is. If you see the marching storm on campus, that they go together as one. I don't know why y'all would think you can fight one. So don't even.
You're a band kid.
Like they gonna be right there.
Bro, what did they expect? They sent out a video talking about, oh, we're gonna beat Prairie View at their own field.
And then y'all get mad
Hey, y'all
because
get
Marching
mad.
Storm is like, no, you know what the Marching Storm said? I thought it was so funny. Marching Storm was like, where's y'all band at? Because they played over where the opposing band was supposed to be. And it was just chanting everything at this FAMU squad.
Yeah.
So last question, and we're gonna wrap up. What do y'all think, like, what do you guys think about the action from FAMU trying to fight people over them losing?
FAMU got to get out their feelings.
There we go.
That's
They
what it
play
sums
bad,
up.
so they have to take the consequences of their actions.
Mm-hmm.
And they
Yeah.
shouldn't have done that after the game. They should have just went straight to the locker room. They went straight to the bleachers.
It was insane.
Yeah.
Police got involved.
Definitely, I feel like my biggest takeaway from that was like how FAMU should feel. I mean, it's an embarrassment, honestly.
Yeah.
I've been taught since a young age, you're going to different places, you have to be on your best behavior. And you never let nobody get out your character. I mean, obviously, I know how trash talking is in sports.
Of course.
I'm a fan. I do it. Not going to lie about it. I do it. So I honestly understand where it was coming from. Like, you know, there's some things said, and it might have been something personal said, but you always have to have your composure at a time like that, especially in a conference game and in a away conference game.
Yeah,
Of course.
Especially on ESPN.
Exactly.
That's
With all that.
national. That's
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Live TV.
Yeah.
yeah. So, kind of wrapping up, the last thing I'm going to mention, and we're going to wrap up, is the fact that now we are eligible to now play for the championship. I mean, we've climbed the rankings. We're third in our conference now. We're third in like our part of the conference. But you get my point. We're climbing the rankings now. We're third. And that's a really big, important thing that we need to understand now, kind of starting off from that slow start of the season, losing to Texas Southern in our debut game, having everybody kind of come together, and now it's a well-oiled machine, essentially. But this has been Across the Board. We're going to come back with a lot more stuff. We have a surprise guest for Wednesday's episode that's a part of the football team, but we're going to get into that later. And it's just going to it's just going to be really, really fun, and we're glad that you guys are here with us every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Yeah. And do you guys have any other last remarks before we sign off?
Just support your Panthers.
Amen.
Pop out.
Pop out to everything.
Pop out. But this has been Khalid Gray with Across the Board.
Kenneth Richardson.
Joshua Fontenot.
Taneal Coleman.
And we will see you guys in the next episode of Across the Board, premiering soon.